Hey guys, I think it's been over a week since I've actually checked in where I sat down and talked to the camera. I've been binge reading Misery, and I just haven't even thought to stop and talk about what I've been doing other than that. Basically, ever since I finished my Cloud Atlas vlog, I've kind of been in a little bit of like a filming slump, if you will. I don't know what else to call it. But I haven't had much to say, I guess. So yeah, I've just been binging Misery. I have about 50 pages left. This book is crazy, y'all. Oh my god. I've been meaning to read this for years and I don't know why I never did. I knew that I would like it. I didn't know how much. It's such a roller coaster. I mean, it's written in the third person, but you get these snippets of thoughts within the main character Paul's head, and it's so it's so crazy to watch everything that's happening unfold. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but this is just a wild ride, and I'm glad that I'm reading it now. I'm probably going to finish it by tomorrow, if not tonight. So, sorry, I'm making sure my son is like kind of stirring a little bit, so I wanted to make sure that he's not waking up from his nap. I think he might be. Anyways, I might have to actually just go and grab him, and I won't really be able to film because he gets too curious about my camera and it's expensive, so I'm not going to let him play with it and damage it. I don't really have that much to say anyways, since I'm not spoiling anything in the plot. I really just came here to say, like, this is crazy. Oh, and then today we went on a nice long walk because we were in the Revere Beach area. We don't go there very often, so we went for a nice walk around Revere Beach, and then I just thought, like, hell, while we're here, we don't have a lot of little free libraries where we live, so I went ahead and looked up on their website a couple of little free libraries in the Revere Beach area, and they had I got a couple of things, mostly children's books, but I got my son a couple of things. I grabbed one book for myself. I don't know if you guys do this, but whenever you go to a little free library, I've heard that the best thing to do is to not put the books directly on your shelf. You should put them in your freezer for like 3 to 5 days just to kill any mites or anything that are in there. Otherwise, I'd do a little book haul here. But yeah, I don't really got much else to say. Not much going on right now. But my son is definitely awake now, so I have to go. I finished Misery, and most of the Stephen King books that I've read involve some sort of paranormal element to them, like in The Shining. Obviously, I don't know, like, here's the thing. Okay, rant just because I want to talk about this book a little bit. How do you decide where the boundary is between what is a spoiler and what isn't? Because there's times when I want to talk about a book, and I know that some people like to go in completely blind. I myself am that way sometimes with certain books, but it's like I almost feel like I can't talk about a book at all without spoiling some things. Like if I want to talk about The Shining, most people know that The Shining is about a haunted hotel that makes the guy who works there go crazy, right? Most people know that. Is that a spoiler, or do we just accept that and the details within that are the spoilers, you know? Because I want to talk about Misery in the sense that it was one of the only Stephen King books that I've read. I think the only Stephen King book I've read that had no paranormal element. Obviously, in the story, the main character has a wild imagination, so vivid. And I guess if you want to call that a paranormal element, it isn't. But the imagery is there. It's just, it's not real like it is in his other stories. Like there's not actual ghosts or monsters or demons or anything like that. Basically, I think we all know, right? It's so hard. You guys let me know. I'm going to talk about it as much as I can without what I think are stark, blaring spoiler, like you ruined it for me. I also might be the last person on the planet that had not read Misery, so maybe you guys don't even care because you already know. It's one of his most popular books for a reason, right? We all know that it's at least semi-entertaining and the basis of the plot. We know that it's about a crazy woman who kidnaps a man and does things to him in order to get something out of him. It's just, what more can I say beyond that? I don't know. That's my question. Because I just filmed, I mean, if you want to talk about the footage alone, like 6 hours of footage for a Cloud Atlas two-part vlog that I just put out, and that was full of spoilers because I literally delved into the plot, each character. I even read lots of snippets that I thought were interesting because of the way that David Mitchell phrases his books. But when it comes to other videos, like whenever I do a dedicated reading vlog to a specific book, there will be spoilers for it because that's the point of the vlog, is to talk about the one book. But when I do something like this, where it's more of like a weekly vlog style, I still want to talk about the books that I'm reading, but I want it to appeal to a broader audience in the sense that, like, if I talk about Misery, I don't want to tell you the details about what he's going through, you know, things that she does to him, what he is doing. I mean, I think everybody knows that he's an author, at least, and that she's his biggest fan. But other than that, I don't know what I can say. I guess I can just tell you that I don't think the book was perfect. I don't think any book is absolutely perfect. I don't think a book needs to be perfect in order to get a 5-star from me, at least. Basically, I'm not the fastest reader in the world. If something evokes a lot of emotion within me or makes me not able to put the book down, I'm going to rate it pretty high just based on the way that it made me feel, or, I mean, just the way it made me feel in general, because you don't read a 300-page book in 2 to 3 days. I mean, unless you're a fast reader. But if you're a slow reader like me, you don't read a book that long in a couple of days unless it's doing something for you. So I rated it 5 stars because it was so thrilling. I wanted to know what happened to him. I wanted to know if he was going to escape this crazy person who kidnapped him. I wanted to know the ending. It wasn't the ending that I expected, I will say that, because with Stephen King, you really never know what kind of ending you're going to get. You really don't know what he's going to do to his characters at all. If you've read like a good chunk of his books. I haven't read that many. I've read only a few of the most popular ones. I've read The Shining, I've read Pet Sematary. I started it a few years ago, but it was so long that I never finished it. I would like to. It's just daunting at this point. And then I just finished Misery, so I don't know, 4 or 5 of his books. I think there's another one. Salem's Lot. Yeah, Salem's Lot is the other one that I read in college, and I honestly don't remember much about it. What does that say? I'm not sure. But with Misery, I think it was the fastest that I've read one of his books. And it was just the plot was so fast paced. There was lots of, I don't know if it was cliffhangers. Also, the chapters were very short, so that made me just want to keep going. Sometimes there was 3 or 4 chapters just on a 2-page spread. So that's how short some of them are. I liked, that's the thing, I can't talk about it. I liked the way that they went with his own mental state and why he was able to, you know, sustain being around this crazy lady. That's what I'll say, because I'll spoil it if I say what he was doing and why, what was happening to him, like, mentally, physically, all of that. So it's so hard. I don't know where that boundary is for me. Because yes, Misery is a very popular book and lots of people have already read it. I'm probably one of the last people. I mean, Stephen King is also just a very popular author. So I'm definitely, you know, last across the finish line here. No surprise. I have lots of books that are older that I haven't gotten to, and I'm not one of the people that needs to stay with the hype on the trend. Like, I'll read a book that's 2 years old, even though it's not necessarily going to be a classic or life changing in any way, especially when it comes to romances or contemporary fiction. The hype dies down and then people kind of forget about them. But there's a few on my shelf that are still relatively new that I want to get to. And then obviously there's just the classics that you can pick up really at any time. I do think that there are some that you get more out of if you wait longer in life. Uh, like dystopian thriller type of books. I do think that if you've had a little bit more experience in life, you'll get more out of the book. Hi, as you can see, it's a new day. I did not end up having time to get back to my train of thought yesterday, and honestly, I did not go back and watch the footage to kind of regather my thoughts because I feel like I said pretty much what there was to say. I was kind of talking in circles at that point. I'm still curious to know about where the boundary should be between what's considered a spoiler and isn't. Because I know that there's just generally accepted things that we can reveal that aren't considered spoilers, but then also, like, there's somebody out there that would still consider that a spoiler, right? Because they want to go in totally blind. But then why would they be watching any content about a book that they don't want to know anything about? So it's like, how much of it is my responsibility and how much of it is yours? I don't know. I guess I'll just kind of dance around the line until somebody says, hey, you crossed it and you didn't warn me about it. So I guess until then, the next time I have any thoughts, I will share them. Anyways, last night I watched the 1990 movie Misery with Kathy Bates with my husband, and it was okay. They changed a lot more of the plot than I was expecting them to. Like, specifically, a few of the things that horrified me. And really, to be honest, I know that one of the main things that Stephen King even wrote the book for, they pretty much got rid of it entirely in the plot. And let's just say that it has to do with Novril. I'll just say that. I think that's not a spoiler, because if you don't know what it is, then... Anyways, the movie was okay. I love Kathy Bates. I will say Annie in the book is a lot scarier than Kathy Bates portrayed her to be, although she did a great job. She did what she could with the script that she was given. Let's just say that. And so it was fine. I'm now reading The Reformatory, which I'm so excited to get into. I mean, can I say that? Because it's really a terrible concept. Not in like writing wise, but like what the book is about is terrible. But I'm excited to see the portrayal of Florida in the 1950s during Jim Crow. It's weird how, I don't think this is a spoiler. In the beginning, the characters talk about their parents' experiences prior to the 1950s, even, grandparents' experiences up through the Civil War. And they talk about how their lives are so bad back then that they are unspeakable. The parents and grandparents don't even really talk about their history. They basically just say, when you see a white man, smile at him like you hadn't seen your best friend in years. Or I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it was that's basically what it was. It was just to respect them, hold your tongue, smile, be polite, all those things. And we know that that's what it was like in the 50s through the 60s even. But to think about a past that was so horrible that it's unspeakable, and the ramifications that spread through the generations because of it, it's going to be an interesting read, but I think it's going to be devastating. It's a thriller slash horror for a reason, and it's not just because there may be undead. It's also because history is horrifying. So I'm excited to get into it. It's just over 500 pages, I believe. I've only gotten to 20 to 30 page mark right now. I just started it yesterday, but I only read a few pages, so I really kind of consider me as starting it today. The text is pretty big, so it's easy to physically read. It's just the material itself, I can already tell, it's sad, but also I know that the scary parts are coming. And I'm a baby. I have a very active imagination, and I don't need it to be laid out for me. I can do it on my own. But if it is laid out for me, I just know. I just won't be walking around the house in the dark for a while after I read this book. And I haven't even gotten to it, I just know. Anyways, today we are going to a roller rink for my nephew's birthday. I think he's turning 11. And I'll take you along and I'll film what I can. I like to be respectful of other families with kids, so, maybe I'll ask somebody to film me skating and showing you how terrible I am at it, because I haven't done it in years. But it should be fun. I've been so neglectful of filming lately. I just haven't been motivated, is the truth. With my husband on a semi-long work trip, I guess I've just been distracting myself with the extra time that I've had lately. Usually I would go out and film myself doing things with him, but for some reason I'm a lot less motivated to go out and do things by myself with my son. And I I want to change that. Part of the reason I started this channel is to get out there in the world and experience more of life instead of being cooped up in the house. You know, being from a small town, it really made me a homebody because I grew up where pretty much the only way to go out and do things was to spend money by going out to restaurants or things like that, or literally just driving around listening to music and wasting gas. Those were like the two activities other than going to the movies. So I really did become a homebody because of the way that I grew up. And it's so hard to break that habit. I know that I have all of these options and resources to me now that I live in a major city, or not in a major city, but like close enough to one where I can go there. You know, it's less than an hour commute, basically. And there's a lot of activities that I have in mind that I would like to do. It's just, I get so shy and hesitant to do things by myself with my son. Like, I really want to go to a corn maze or a pumpkin patch or apple picking. But for some reason, I tell myself, like, no, you have to do that as a whole family. I could even invite my mother-in-law, but she's busy a lot of the time. So I want to get over this. There's things that I want to do, even if it's just going and sitting in the public garden in Boston. Like, it's kind of a pain to get there from where I live, but every time I go there, I feel so at peace just sitting like near the willow trees by the pond. I've never done the swan boats either. Like, a lot of the touristy things my husband did growing up because he's from Boston, but I've never done a lot of them. Like, the one thing that I got to do before it closed down was go to the top of the Hub in Prudential, the restaurant, and see the views. I mean, I did get to go to the like sky view. I think that closed as well, but I think another one has opened since. I haven't been. But there's a few Boston-y tourist things that I haven't done. I want to go to the Children's Museum. I would like to go. We do have a farm that we typically go to if we ever feel like picking fruits or veggies. And I know that they have a corn maze there for the fall. I think they have a pumpkin patch as well on the vine too. So you get to actually pick your own pumpkins, not just from already harvested ones, but like literally harvest it yourself, which is something I have never done and I would like to do. We've been to pumpkin patches before, but they were already harvested and you just choose one, which is like still fine, but I want to do this. And then also there's the Topsfield Fair. I think it's in Peabody. I'm not sure. I know it's like somewhere around there. But we did it last year when my son was a month old and I was so nervous, but I saw a bunch of other people there with very young babies and it made me feel better. The only thing is that we had to buy an extra blanket because it was colder than I expected it to be that day. And a hat that was too big on him because he was a newborn. But I would like to go back this year. I think they're open now. They have to be. It's October 15th today, I believe. So I'm pretty sure the Topsfield Fair is open. Maybe we can go on Saturday. Yeah, all this to kind of just say that, look at me, like I'm even hunched. Like, what's wrong with me? I can't even, have you noticed that I'm staring off into the window instead of looking at the camera? I don't know. There's just like, I don't want to be one of those housewives that doesn't know who I am without my husband. Part of the reason that I started this channel is to gain back my sense of self and to be able to feel fulfilled in my own life as an individual, not even just as a wife or a mother, even like just to remember what it was like to be my own person. Even if that means that I want to do activities that are appropriate for children. You know, there are still things that I want to do. Like, even if I didn't have a kid, I would still be curious to see the Children's Museum because some of the exhibits in there are just cool, even for adults. Anyways, I lately have just been reading whenever I can. I think one of the last check-ins that I did, I don't know what this video is going to be, maybe a monthly vlog for October. One of the last check-ins that I did was when I finished Misery. And that was faster than I expected. It was supposed to take me longer. It was my book club pick for the month of October. But I'm considering switching it to the one that I've been reading, which is The Reformatory. I took the dust jacket off because I don't like reading hardbacks with the cover. But I'm considering switching my book club to The Reformatory. I don't think I'll finish by the end of October, though. That's the thing. Like, I am 106 pages in, and I think I've been reading it for, I don't know, just under a week. But so far, I'm really enjoying the book. It's only had one moment where I got a little bit spooked because I am a baby, but actually two. There's been 2 moments where I got scared. 3, I don't know. 2 moments of like, if this was happening to me, I'd be genuinely scared, and then 1 just like, whoa, that's creepy moment, you know? But so far, I'm really enjoying it. I knew that I would. I was only hesitant to read this because I'm such a wimp when it comes to horror. I have such a vivid imagination. Like, I don't even need this to scare myself. Like, if I'm sitting in a dark room, it wouldn't be hard for me to imagine anything else in the room with me. And this book is not going to do me any favors when it comes to that, because Tanana Reeve is very good at describing things to where you can see them in your head in a cinematic way. And I find myself wondering if they will ever make a movie or a show based on this book, because I think it would be really entertaining just based on the horror aspect alone, let alone the history, the parts of this book that are semi based in reality, because I know that Tanana Reeve, I believe her great uncle actually did pass away in a school like this, like a reformatory. It's kind of like a juvie school for kids. I think it's all boys. Well, yeah, it's the 50s, so it's all boys. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I had to go to Target yesterday to get my son some snacks because, man, that kid is ravenous no matter how much I feed him. You'd think like a tiny little 25-pound body wouldn't eat that much, but no, he eats almost as much as I do, and he's not full. And he just doesn't gain weight because he's so active. Like, I cannot feed him enough, basically, is what I'm saying. But anyways, this is my old reading journal. You can see that I've got about 10 pages left in it before I run out of space. I've had this for the last couple of years. I'm really bad at making my journal interesting enough to where I actually would show you, but I guess it doesn't hurt to kind of... I can just flip through it, right? These are my personal opinions and mini reviews of the books that I read, but basically, since 2023, I've just been writing the title of the book, the date I started, the date I finished, my star review, my star rating, and then at first I started putting in thoughts as I read, and then also the page count. I eventually started just putting reviews once I finished the book, instead of trying to think of things throughout, because I just would annotate in the book instead. I think it made more sense for me. But anyways, yeah, over the last couple of years, I've just put a little note of my thoughts on the books that I've been reading, and I'm almost out of space, so I wanted to just get a new one. And I also have been looking at some of the ways other people do spreads, like where they lay out their journal. And I do have a little printer that I use for a scrapbook for my sons, for a memory book. This is the Sprocket HP Zinc printer, pocket printer. And then this is the paper that I use for it. In the app, the Sprocket app on my iPhone, you can actually make collages. And I've seen people put mini book covers, and you can do a 2x2 collage of the book covers so that you can make them really small. Since it's a sticker paper, I've seen people put the cover of the book into their reading journal, which I would like to do. I'm not going to go back through this and add in all the covers. I think I'm just going to start from either now or maybe even the beginning of 2026. Since I've already made it this far in this book, I kind of don't want to change it up now. But all this to say, basically, I got a new one. It's pretty thin paper. I almost bought one that was almost identical to this, just the cover design was different. But I decided to try something different. This one has more pages, which means they're thinner. So we'll see how it goes. But, oh, I think my son's awake. Yeah, he's awake. Okay, so I don't really have much else to say about this. I'm just, maybe if I start a new design for my layout, I'll show you. If not, then, you know, oh well. But just ideas that I've been having, and yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say right now. I'm not going to give any spoilers for this book. I might review it when I finish it, but it's going to be a while, so I'm not sure when I'll check in again. I've been reading some more of the Reformatory. I'm just about to get to part 3, and things are getting heated. There's lots of moments already that I've had. Like, how many tabs do I have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 tabs already, and I'm just over the 100-page mark. I don't have like a system that I use every single time. I basically start to read the book and I figure out the system that I want to use as I'm reading. So for a book like this, so far I've got 4 different categories of tabs, and then I put a little note as to whatever the reason is that I'm tabbing. And then also throughout, if I'm noticing anything that I want to comment on, I'll just write myself little notes in the margins as well. And so far, there's been a lot of things that are intriguing, both in the time period being, you know, the racist South. There's a lot to go on there. But then also the added element of, I don't think it's a spoiler because it's in the synopsis. This boy gets sent to a reformatory school for boys where there are ghosts, and some of the scenes so far, he's only had 3 moments that he's experienced. They call them haints, but I'm pretty sure it's ghosts. I don't know what the difference is. I didn't really brush up on any folklore, like Southern folklore, before I went into this, but I'm assuming that haints are the same as ghosts, but maybe maybe it's closer to like a poltergeist or something, in the sense that there's evil within it as well. It's not just a ghost for the sake of being a ghost. I think there is that as well, but most of the time so far that he's seen a ghost, there's also just been like a very eerie feeling behind it. There's a lot of violence and evil taking place. I mean, there must be in the Jim Crow South. They've already mentioned things like, I don't even know if I can use this word, but like lynching and, you know, white on black violence, and some of it has been really sad. I've had already lots of different emotions throughout this. I've had moments that are saddening and raging, fear invoking, and I actually, as I've been reading this, I don't have the highest, I guess, tolerance for scary things. I am a little bit of a baby, and I get spooked easily, so I've already gotten to the point, only, you know, a fifth of the book, to where I can only read this during the day. And even at night when I'm not reading it, I can still recall the imagery. Like last night when I was putting my son to bed, it's been getting dark pretty early these days, so even by his 7 o'clock bedtime, it's pitch black in his bedroom. So I have to put on the nightlight in order to do his routine. Otherwise, the entire time I'm sitting there holding him, singing his lullabies, I'm imagining like monsters in the corner, or like the ghosts that are being described in this story. So basically, I put him to bed, turned off the nightlight, and ran down the stairs. So all this to say is that I had to get a nighttime book so that I can read 2 different books at the same time, because I just can't read this at night. So I picked up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've been thinking about reading it for a while. It wasn't on my fall TBR. I thought about doing the The Secret History instead, but Addie LaRue was on Kindle Unlimited, which I had canceled, but recently they offered me 2 months free, so I just thought, okay, I'll just do it and then cancel it after. So right now I'm reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue on my Kindle, and I'm reading that at night. And so far it's pretty good. I haven't gotten very far. I've only gotten to her childhood and the beginning where I don't want to spoil it, but I think most people at this point have read or know the plot to Addie LaRue. I like it. I will say this book is a lot more intriguing. I just can't bring myself to read it at night. I'm going to keep going with this until I get to part 3. I'm really close. I probably have 5 to 10 pages left. I really am a baby. I have tears in my eyes right now. It's the middle of the day. It's like 11:30. And I just read chapter 11. Oh my god, it was so scary. Ghost stuff really gets me. I don't know why. It always has. Like, I can watch psycho killers all day long and not feel anything, if it's fictional at least. But ghosts, no matter how ridiculous or, you know, cinematic in like a bad way, it is. Ghosts scare me so much more than like fictional killers. Obviously, real killers and true crime scare me too. I think it's interesting to learn the history and about like the brain chemistry of psychopaths or serial killers. I think the study of them is interesting. Obviously, the history is horrible, and I do think there is a boundary between, you know, dramatizing things that have happened to real people. But paranormal stuff, oh, it always gets me. Every time. Since I was a kid, my brother and I used to watch A Haunting. I'm not even sure what channel it was on. I just remember the name of the show. And the makeup was so bad. Like, I've gone back and watched some episodes as an adult. The acting and the makeup, the special effects, was like not the best. But I just remember having nightmares for weeks after seeing a couple of the episodes of that show. And looking back, it's like, dang, my parents really let me watch that at like 10 years old. And it really developed a hyperactive imagination. Like, in another universe, I might be a horror writer, author. I know that Tananarive is just an amazing writer, and she has just depicted this story so far incredibly well. I know I said I wanted there to be a movie or show based on this book, and I hope there is, just for the sake of her success. But honestly, I don't know if I could watch it. I know that I'm just being a baby, and I think a lot of people wouldn't even be bothered at all by what I just read. But I was so engrossed in it that it felt like it was happening to me. What a book. I have been neglectful of my chores. I washed my clothes and I just need to fold and put them away, but I think a lot of people don't like the folding and putting away part, and I'm one of them. So I should stop being lazy and start getting things done before my son wakes up, which will probably be soon. The house is mostly clean. The floors are all clean except for some toys that I usually just wait till the end of the day to clean up, because otherwise I'll just be tidying throughout the day, and I kind of feel like, one, he needs to just be able to explore and play, and two, you know, if I'm just cleaning up all the time, then he won't learn to do it for himself. I try to involve him in the daily chores. Like, he's seen me fold laundry. He sits with me while I do dishes or cook meals, things like that. And I know I'm rambling because I'm trying not to think about the chapter in this book I just read. So I think I'm going to go be more productive around the house. But I got decently far. I read about 30 pages just now. I'm in page 143 now. I'm really enjoying this book. I just know that once it gets dark outside, I start imagining, shadows in the corners of my house. I do live in a very old house, so I don't know. I'm skeptical about ghosts. It's funny because I have a scientific background and I know that ghosts aren't real, right? But it's like hard for me to actually say that out loud just because my parents are so spiritual and my mom talks about spirits that she sees and things like that. Like, I don't know. We all just have our own experiences, and it's like I'm a skeptic, but then I have these memories from being a kid where I'm convinced that I saw a little girl ghost in my parents' house, which is also over 100 years old. So it's just like, was I hallucinating back then? I have such a vivid imagination, and I always have, so. All this to say, bring on the monsters and the psycho killers on the TV screen. But I cannot do anything paranormal. Even Insidious, I still think about the demon on this in the corner of the ceiling. Like, oh my god. Ah. Being an adult who's scared of the dark feels a little bit ridiculous, but I don't know. It's embarrassing to even talk about, but it's true. Like, I am still scared of the dark. I still have a very vivid imagination that I really try to put out of my mind whenever the sun sets and my son goes to bed, especially now that my husband's on a work trip and I have this whole big house to myself and my dog. If I didn't have her, who knows? I might just like curl up in my bed because for some reason having a blanket over you makes you safe all of a sudden. So, oh, why am I such a baby? Sorry, I have to hold the camera so high that, so that you can't see my baby's face because he really is trying to look at the camera because he's so used to me FaceTiming my mom that he is drawn to cameras, phones, anything like that. But I was gonna say, oh wow, look at that. The architecture is so beautiful. Just the old buildings, like it makes you feel like you're in Europe whenever you're in the North End. But I was gonna say I could have brought the stroller, but I've done it before and it's a pain on these narrow streets. So I decided to do the carrier instead, and it's working out great. All right, we made it back home and I forgot to bring my camera. Like, my husband buys me this super nice vlogging camera, and of course we go out and I forget to bring it. So I'm just gonna finish out today on my phone since all the other clips from today were on my phone anyways. So I just figured I'd do a quick little haul from the day. So I was planning on going to closer, I mean, I guess I still technically went to downtown. Anyways, I was planning on going to the Beacon Hill area of Boston because I've been meaning to check out the bookstore and cafe. I forget the name of it. I think it's literally called Beacon Hill Cafe and Books, or Books and Cafe or something like that. Figured, you know, today's a great day. It's a beautiful fall day. The rain's finally gone. It's nice and sunny, not too cold. So I went there and I swear I drove around for at least 20 minutes. I didn't exactly time myself, but I could not find parking, and your girl is not about to pay for a garage for like $30 to $40 for like an hour. It's ridiculous in downtown. So I didn't do that. I decided, why am I saying we as if my 1-year-old had any input? I decided to go to the North End instead because I knew that I was craving something to eat and a little sweet treat. And Bova's is my husband's favorite bakery to go to. It's been open since 1926, 24 hours. It was open through the Boston Marathon bombing. It was open all through COVID. It's never closed since 1926, I believe. And if you are a true Bostonian, which I'm not, but my husband is born and raised Bostonian, so he always says that Bostonians go to Bova's. I mean, I know it's like a controversial thing, but people argue about the best bakery, but we both enjoy it a lot. He's been going there since he was a kid. So first we went to Bova's. I can't show you what I got because I scarfed it down at the like little swings and a little like greenery patch that they have. We had a little picnic. I showed you a little bit of what the view was, but like I said, I do have my son, so I'm not filming a lot. But I had a buffalo chicken calzone and an eclair, eclairs are my go-to. I don't usually get like food. I usually just get something sweet. Eclair or cream puff. My husband always gets a Nutella cannoli. It's his favorite. But I did get a chocolate covered strawberry for my son. And I was going to give it to him at the park, but the chocolate was frozen solid because it's so cold, and I didn't want him to choke like out in the middle of the park, and I would have been freaking out because we're on display. So I decided to just let that sit out at room temperature at home until the chocolate softens because it's warm in the house. And then later I'll give that to him. But I gave him some of my calzone and he loved it. And then there is a bookstore pretty much right next to Boba's in the North End. So I went in and I showed you already, but I'll just show you again. I've been meaning to read Cujo for a long time. I just read Misery and it reignited my love for Stephen King. There's a few of his books that I want to read, but this one was on sale at the bookstore, so I was like, okay, I guess that's a sign that it'll be the next one. So yeah, I got Cujo. Also, I don't know if you guys watch Gavin Reads It All, but he just did a video ranking the Stephen King books that he's reading all of Stephen King's books that he's ever published, and short stories, I believe. And he just did a tier ranking video, and Cujo ranked pretty high, so I can't wait to read it. And then a nonfiction. Nonfiction is hit or miss for me, depending on my mood. Most of the time, if I read nonfiction, I'm going to go for a memoir or an autobiography. I've been wanting to read this for a while. My husband and I watched the show on Hulu a few years ago. I forgot what it's called. I'll put it here. But we watched that when it came out, and it was incredible. And ever since then, I've wanted to learn more about the Sackler family. And Anna Wallace Johnson on YouTube just recently also made a video about big books, and this was on there and how she really loved it. And they were so sweet. They gave me a couple bookmarks too. So the store's called I Am Books in the North End in Boston. I've been there several times. I like it. I've gotten some of my son's baby books there. Yeah, recommend. I'm excited to read this. Every time I've gone to a bookstore looking for this, it's been sold out. So this is the first time I've gone in. They actually had a copy, and this was the last copy. So yeah. And then at the little greenery swings in the North End. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I highly recommend. It's very beautiful views. It's a calm, peaceful atmosphere, and they do have a little free library there in that little park. So I decided to go check that out. And I never know where I'm going to go 100% of the time. So I usually bring just like a little tote bag. I got this one at the Albertine French bookstore in New York City. Also, if you ever go to New York City, highly recommend that. But anyways, I usually just keep like a few, donations. So I did donate a book because I grabbed The Guncle. I've been wanting to read this forever, and I'm so happy that I got it for free. Like, I was actually going to buy this book, and I still would, just to support the author, but I'm so happy that I got it. So I did donate. So since I grabbed an LGBTQ book, I donated an LGBTQ book, and also it's more of a recent purchase. So I donated, I think I showed you, but I donated Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I usually like to trade a book of equal caliber. I know most people probably don't care, but like my son is he's trying to learn how to make noise. He's getting up to the point of saying his first few words, and I think soon he'll be forming, little sentences. But anyways, I like to donate a book of equal caliber. So if I'm going to take a children's book, I'll donate a children's book. The only one that's kind of iffy is nonfiction. But like, since I grabbed a more recent release, recent to me is like within the last 5 years it was published. So since I grabbed a more recent release, I donated a more recent release. Because I do have older books, kids' books, a little bit of everything. But I'm so happy with my little haul that I got today. I'm trying not to spend a lot of money on books these days and read what I have. But I just thought, hey, I'd like to treat myself. This one was free. This one I've been wanting to read basically since it was published. And then this one is kind of the one that I maybe could have skipped, but I'm happy that I got it. So yeah, that's my mini little haul. Our little day in the North End, which was not supposed to be that. So we'll try again to go to Beacon Hill. It'll happen eventually. It's just the parking situation's a nightmare. I forgot maybe the most important thing that I got today. So in the North End, usually we go to the location in Seaport, but there is a Polka Dog, which if y'all don't know is like a pet store where they sell a huge selection of handmade dog treats. So we always get something for my friend. She here's the bag. Want to come up and say hi? She has a chicken allergy, so we have to make sure that we check the ingredients whenever we buy things for her. But her favorite treats that she actually can have from there are these beef sweet potato treats. You want it? I never give her treats for doing nothing, so this is a big deal. You're getting treats for free. For free? Okay, this one I'm gonna make her work for. Got yogurt drops, I think is what these are called. Look, I'll give it to you, but you have to give me a high five. You have to give me a high five first. High five. I'm holding her, it's hard for her. Can I have a high five? High five. High five. She's like, I'm gonna get that treat. I'm gonna get that treat, mama. Give me a high five. High five. That's the best you can do while being held, huh? Here you go. Yeah, I can't forget Yosh. I can't forget Yoshi's treats. Very important pit stop along the way. Ignore the fingerprint covered mirror. I usually hold my baby right here and he likes to check out his reflection. And I'm too lazy to clean the mirror right now. I just figured I'd show you. I forgot earlier. This is little OOTD. I was wearing black faux alligator skin boots, but we don't wear shoes in the house. So I'm wearing some berry maroon colored corduroy cutoffs. I have a black turtleneck on, and then underneath this poncho. You can't stop yourself from becoming like your parents. I wish I could. I used to make fun of the way my mom dressed. I regret it now because I officially have become her. She loves ponchos, and now I do too. It was warm, comfortable, but I will say mostly invisible because I was wearing a baby carrier for most of the day. I just wanted to show you, since I won't show my son on camera, I made him a little crocheted cardigan. I made it for when he was a newborn, but I made it way too big on accident. So it fits him now perfectly at 13 months old. It's a little bit big still, so I think he'll be able to wear it for a while. But what had happened is I ordered these ridiculously cute little bear buttons on Etsy, and I knew I had to make something from, I think I bought them when I first found out I was pregnant, and I knew that I wanted to make something with buttons. I just didn't know what. And then it became the idea to make a button-down cardigan. And it was perfect. I found this yarn at Michael's, self-changing color yarn. And it's like, I think it's acrylic, but it's really actually nice quality after you wash it, which I have. And yeah, he looked so cute in it. Anyways, I'm gonna do something I might regret, which this morning, usually there's 2 times a day when I have the most of an opportunity to read. It's in the first thing in the morning when my son does his independent play. So it's like that's when I drink my coffee and I read a book while my son plays in the morning. And then for his first nap is usually when I get to read for the second time. And that is like anywhere between 20 minutes to 2 hours of reading time that I normally get. But today I was on the phone all morning, so I didn't get a chance to read. And then I can't remember what I was doing. Oh, I got ready to go out during his first nap, and he didn't sleep as long as I was hoping he would, so I was still getting ready when he woke up. So we had to finish getting ready. I got him ready, and then we went out for the day, and it just took longer than I thought. I thought we would be home sooner than we were, because, like I said, I drove all the way to downtown Boston, which isn't like ridiculously far, but it's also not close. So I drove to downtown hoping to go to Beacon Hill. You know this already. And obviously I ended up going to the North End, which I'm glad we did. We still had fun. Hold on, sneeze. Oh, I don't know why I try to hold them in and then I do these little like snorty sounding sneezes that feel terrible. Ugh. And I know not to do it, but I do it anyway. It's like a reflex at this point. I've been stifling my sneezes my whole life. Why am I telling you that? I don't know. But anyways, the whole point of me even talking right now, I ramble no matter what I have to say, don't I? Is that I haven't gotten to read much today, and I would like to make more progress on the reformatory. And I normally don't allow myself to read that book at night, because I'm just a baby and I live in a big house. So I've got this big amount of empty space to myself with my dog, and she's just hyper reactive to everything, which doesn't help me with my nerves. And so the last thing I need is to be reading a scary book, and then as soon as I get up to go anywhere in the house, I'm just jumpy and like on high alert. I know I'm being ridiculous, but up until now, I have not allowed myself to read at night. I may regret this, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and drink my tea, and I might go. Normally I like to read in the living room because I feel more productive when I do it, but I think I'm gonna go lay in bed and read some of the reformatory. I've been reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue in bed at night. Right before bed, I'll just read for like 10 minutes. Like I'm reading one chapter at a time, and they're very, very short chapters, like 3 to 4 page length chapters most of the time so far through the book, and I'm about 50 pages in so far. I'm going to take my time with that one because it wasn't even on my fall TBR. I just picked it up out of nowhere because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and now for some reason I just picked up the physical copy because I already owned it. It's like I already started it on Kindle Unlimited, and then it was just like, well, I have the physical copy, I might as well read it. Silly, I know. Makes no sense. And you didn't ask. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to go grab my chamomile tea and I'm going to go read the reformatory in bed at night. Let's just hope I am still motivated to get up and do the rest of my night routine before it's actually time to sleep. I might regret this. I'll let you know in the morning though, unless it's really bad. And then I'll just, distract myself by talking to you. If you don't see me again tonight, you know I did okay. I'm about halfway done with the reformatory now, and I've been debating with myself. My dog always gets so suspicious when I start filming. Every time. She's like, "Who are you talking to?" Yoshi, I'm talking to the camera. She doesn't understand. Why would she? I've been debating with myself when to end this vlog because I haven't decided whether I like the idea of weekly or monthly vlogs, or maybe even daily, on the days that I do enough things where I can get enough footage to maybe do a daily vlog. But I'm noticing that my videos are getting longer and longer, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but I don't think that I'm established enough to be putting out videos that long. I do want to create a community where people feel welcome, and I don't want a really long video to be unwelcoming, Because I understand that not everybody has the time to sit and watch an hour-long vlog of me baking brownies and walking around Boston. But I've been enjoying the filming process. Editing is my not so favorite part. I think maybe what I'm going to do is just end the vlog today. My husband's great uncle is in town visiting us, and we are going to hang out with him today, and we're going to go have dinner tonight at a steakhouse, which I'm excited about. I'm a little bit nervous because we're going really close to my son's bedtime, but recently I saw some advice that said stick to the routine 80% of the time and give in to 20% of the time. And it's not very often that we get to see family that lives far away, so yes, he might be a little bit fussier than usual, but I'd rather him get to spend time with family and be a little bit fussy than for me to just say no and miss out on, the parts of life that are important. I think it's important to spend time with family, assuming as long as you have a good relationship. I'm not going to film the time with family, and I figured I'd show just the prep of the day And that's pretty much where I'll end out the vlog. I don't have any specific plans for Halloween. I don't even know what day of the week Halloween is on this year. But I never ended up getting a costume for my son. I actually have a costume I bought a few years ago that I never wore, but honestly, after having a baby, I'm not sure it would even fit me anymore. And I kind of don't want to test it out just because I don't want to feel bad about myself if it doesn't fit. So, yeah, I don't have specific Halloween plans this year, and that's okay. I don't mind. I mean, we live in the East Coast, semi-close to Boston, and we've gone to Salem for Halloween a couple of times, and it's fun. But with a baby and crowds and drunk people, not something I want to do. I think we're just gonna hang out at home. Maybe I'll make some Halloween-themed cookies or something, because I used to do that every year up until a couple of years ago. I don't know why I stopped, but I used to make pumpkin cookies, and I used to make something that my mom called Frankenstein fingers or witch's fingers, which is basically sugar cookies that are dyed green, and you mold them into the shapes of fingers, and then you kind of squish down one of the ends and you put a whole almond so it looks like a rotted fingernail. They're kind of funny and cool. Crowd pleaser when I used to bring them to work. So I might make those this year. The only thing that sucks is that my son has an egg allergy, so whenever I make baked goods, most of the time he can't have them. So I have to time things out to where my husband can take things to his coworkers, or my mother-in-law can take things, or other family members. So whenever I know it's just me and my son, I tend to not really make a lot of baked goods because they're going to go bad. I have only so much of a sweet tooth. Like the other day, you saw that I made a mug cake, and that's about all I can handle. I'll probably have one or two of the brownies and give the rest to my great uncle and my mother-in-law. To be honest, I might even just end the vlog out here. I don't want to put all this effort in just for people to feel overwhelmed or intimidated by a long video from a small channel. So, if you're here and you're actually watching, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me pretty much for the entire month of October. For you, I know it was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Knowing me, it's an hour and a half, right? I really do want to create a space where you can come and you won't feel alone. And it's also good for me because, yes, technically I'm talking to myself or a camera, but it's nice to feel like I can build a community here where you feel comfortable and accepted, and even if there is like a sort of parasocial element inherently in social media and when people film themselves, obviously I can't be there with you really, but I know what it's like to be lonely, and it's nice to have a way to escape just a little bit. And that's what I do when I watch other channels, and hopefully I can provide a similar space for you. I know that I'm not the best at filming and editing yet. I feel like I'm getting better. I've learned a lot already so far. I know that I ramble and I have to cut a lot just because I don't plan every sentence out perfectly and I make mistakes. So I'm doing the best that I can, and thank you for bearing with me so far. And I really hope that you have a great rest of the month of October, rest of the fall. I'll see you in the next one.